Okay, guys. So here is the actual House Joint Resolution from 1933. It's HJR 192. Okay. So let's take a look at it. Now this here was talking about the Mini Indians. Okay. Let's go down here. Joint Resolution to assure uniform value to the coins and currencies of the United States. Whereas the holding of or dealing in gold affect the public interest and are therefore subject to proper regulation and restriction. And whereas the existing emergency has disclosed that provisions of obligations which purport to give the obligee the right to require payment in gold or a particular kind of coin or currency of the United States, or in an amount of money of the United States measured thereby, obstruct the power of the Congress to regulate the value of the money of the United States, and are inconsistent with the declared policy of the Congress to maintain at all times the equal power of every dollar coined or issued by the United States in the markets and in the payment of our debts. Alright, so here, basically they're telling you, what they were talking about is the payment in gold or a particular type of coin or currency which had real value. Okay, so they were suspending that because they could not control the fluctuation of the value of that. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled that every provision contained in or made with respect to any obligation which purports to give the obligee a right to require the payment in gold or a particular kind of coin or currency, or in the amount of any money of the United States measured thereby, is declared to be against public policy. So no longer can you use items of real value. Okay? And no such provision shall be contained in or made with respect to any obligation hereafter incurred. Every obligation heretofore and hereafter incurred, whether or not any such provision is contained therein, or made with respect thereto, shall be discharged upon payment, dollar for dollar, in any coin or currency which at the time of payment is legal tender for public and private debts. Any such provision contained in any law authorizing obligations to be issued by or under authority of the United States is hereby repealed, but the repeal of any such provision shall not invalidate any other provision or authority contained in such law. As used in this resolution, the term obligation means obligation including every obligation of the United States, and the term coin or currency means coin or currency of the United States, including Federal Reserve notes and circulating notes of Federal Reserve banks and national banking associations. Now, real quick, I'm going to show you what a real Federal Reserve note is. I'm sure you've never seen one. Everybody probably thinks that the ones we use today are them, but they are not. This was a real Federal Reserve note, okay? National currency, United States of America. On the side it said in big letters, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, Missouri will pay the bearer of this on demand $10, okay? Now, it's going to get more confusing than that, though, because that's one example. Now, if you go and you open your wallet or your purse, you pull out bill of today. I'm going to show you something. You're going to have something like this, where it says along the top, very small, kind of like so, you know, it's not really pronounced, but Federal Reserve Note, United States of America. It's because this is that fiat money. There is no value behind this. This is just flowing on trust. There is nothing to back this. Okay? This is real money with real value. You can see $5 silver certificate, United States of America. This is real money. Okay, now continuing. Where did I leave off? Okay. As used in this resolution, the term obligation means obligation, including every obligation to of and to the United States accepting currency payable in money of the United States, and the term coin or currency means coin or currency of the United States, including Federal Reserve notes and circulating notes of Federal Reserve banks and national banking associations. So now the Federal Reserve notes, which have nothing backing them at this point, are the legal tender. Okay. Section 2. The last sentence of paragraph 1 of subsection B of section 43 of the Act entitled An Act to Relieve the Existing National Economic Emergency by Increasing Agricultural Purchasing Power to Raise Revenue for Extraordinary Expense Incurred by Reason of Such Emergency to Provide Emergency Relief with respect to agricultural indebtedness. To provide for the orderly liquidation of joint stock land banks and for other purposes, approved May 12, 1933, is amended to read as follows. All coins and currencies of the United States, including Federal Reserve notes and circulating notes of Federal Reserve banks and national banking associations, heretofore and hereafter coined or issued, shall be legal tender for all debts, public and private, public charges, taxes, duties, dues, except that gold coins, when below standard weight and limit of tolerance provided by law for the single piece, shall be legal tender only at valuation in proportion to their actual weight. Let's move down. Chapter 49. To provide for the establishment of a national employment system in cooperation with the states, in the promotion of such system for other purposes, be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives, the United States of America, Congress assembled, that in order to promote the establishment and maintenance of a national system of public employment offices, there is hereby created the Department of Labor Bureau. So that just goes into the Department of Labor. Okay, but this is the actual bill, which was the beginning of the removal of the gold standard. This is what, where our gold was stolen, and it was all its direct result of the Great Depression and the crash, and how the economy was tanked. It created panic and disbelief in the system, and that was all orchestrated by the Federal Reserve. It was all orchestrated by the international bankers. It was a precise attack on this country to steal our country's, how would you say, sovereignty? Yeah, there we go, sovereignty. And it goes deeper and deeper, and the more you dig. So let's take a look here. The bankruptcy of the United States. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole thing word for word. I did with the bill because the bill is important. And what ended up happening was that was the beginning of it, and then Nixon ended up completely removing it. And like I said, I think he did that to save face, because he was originally going after the Federal Reserve. So in this, it's talking about precisely what I was saying, how Roosevelt had created that executive order and stole all of the real currency from the American people. Okay, And by doing so and giving the power to the Federal Reserve, it ended up creating a corrupt, sorry, not corrupt, well, it is corrupt, but bankrupt United States. We were already bankrupt, but 1933 was basically the official, beginning of that bankruptcy, I guess you would say. In which case, later on down the line, and it goes into, I am going to read that section. The fact of the matter is the United States did go bankrupt in 1933 and was declared by President Roosevelt by Executive Order 6073, 6102, and 611, and by Executive Order 6260 under the Trading with the Enemy Act of October 6, 1917, as amended by the Emergency Relief Act 48, Statute 1, Public Law Number 1, which is presented, codified at 12 USCA 95A and confirmed at 95B. Guys, make sure you go and you type all these in and look them up yourself, okay? I'm putting this information out there. I don't want you just taking my word for it or his word for it or anybody's word for it. You need to read it and understand it yourself. You can confirm this for yourself by finding it on Find Law. Thereafter, Congress confirmed the bankruptcy on June 5th, 1933, and thereupon impaired the obligations and considerations of contracts through the joint resolution to suspend the gold standard and abrogate the gold clause in June 5th, 1933, which is what I was just showing you guys. When the courts were called upon to rule on various provisions designed and to implement and complement FDR's Emergency Banking Relief Act, they were all found unconstitutional. So what FDR did was simply stack the courts with his chosen members of the bench and the bar. And here's the other thing: the bar goes even more. I mean, there's the bars, which the bar is the British Accreditation Regency. Okay. And there's a lot on that whole thing, where the bar actually came from, why it ended up taking over in all of our courtrooms and legal matters. More information on that. Here's a good article, though, on that. So we'll go back to where I was. Okay. House Joint Resolution 192 was passed in Congress. The act impaired the obligations and considerations of contacts and declared that the notes of the Federal Reserve banks were legal tender for the payment of both public and private debts. And that the payments in gold coin was against public policy. In effect, FDR and Congress, under executive orders and legislative fiat, nationalized the people's money. Their gold coins nationalization is in violation of the law of nations and existing public policy of Congress. The gold coin that was confiscated was later used to purchase voting stockholder shares in the bank and the fund at $35 an ounce. At a later point in time, fair market value, a willing seller, buyer without compulsion, lost any substantial meaning. I'm going to cut it off here, running out of time on this video. So if you guys haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so. Make sure to hit the like button. There's a lot more information in this particular source. I'm going to put all the links to all these pages in the description boxes on this series of videos I'm putting out. Comment, let me know what you guys think, and most importantly, share. God bless you guys, and much love.